Welcome back to the channel guys, and I hope you guys are doing pretty good. So in today's class we will be solving another important interview question for SDETs, and this particular question is basically a LEET code question. It has been asked a lot of time, and as you know, in this entire series we are focusing on important SDET interview questions. So the thing is, if you just solve this entire series properly, hopefully you will be able to prepare for the interviews a little bit faster as well as in a better way. Now, over here, guys, we have been given a question, and the question over here is valid palindrome. We have to tell whether a string is a palindrome or not. Now, in the last class, we focused on the two-pointer approach, right? So, using the two-pointer approach, you can literally solve this particular problem. So, over here, guys, what we have to tell whether a particular string is palindrome or not. Now, first understand what is a palindrome. Of course, we know that. I'm pretty sure you would have solved similar kind of a problem. But we have, let's say, a word called madam. Whether you read it from left to right, M-A-D-A-M, it's still madam. Or if you're going to read it from right to left, M-A-D-A-M, madam. Okay. So over here, whether you read a word from forward or from backward, it is still the same word. That's what you call as a palindrome. Now, there are various ways using which you can solve this particular problem, but this problem is a little bit different because here you need to do a little bit of string manipulation. So, what is a valid palindrome? A phrase is a palindrome if after converting all the uppercase letter into lowercase letter, after converting all the uppercase letters into lowercase letters and removing all non-alphanumeric characters. So we need to convert the characters, the letters into lowercase, and we need to remove all the non-alphanumeric characters. Non-alphanumeric characters means space, comma, colon. It should be removed. And if you then try to read it from forward or backward, it is technically going to be a palindrome. Because once I remove all the non-alphanumeric characters and I convert it into lowercase, if I read it from forward or from backward, it should still be the same word. Alphanumeric characters include letters and number. So we have been given a string S and we need to return true if it is a palindrome, or we are supposed to return false. Now we'll keep it simple. We'll come to this example one later, but we have this example to race a car. So we have this word race a car. It is already in lowercase, but it consists of non-alphanumeric character. That is, it is having space. You are supposed to remove it. So this is going to be race a car. Now, if I'm going to read it from left to right, R-A-C-E. Here we have R-A-C-A. So this is not a palindrome. Okay, so the output should be false. Now, when we have this, a man, a plan, a canal, and Panama. So over here, guys, we have comma, we have colon, but we also have letters which are in uppercase. So we need to convert everything into lowercase. So it's going to be, let's say, A. There is a space. We need to remove that space. A-M-A-N. Remove the comma. A-P-L-A-N. A-C-A-N-A-L. And Panama. Okay. So over here, AM, AM. Over here we have AM, we have AN. So this over here, guys, is basically a palindrome. So we are supposed to return true. Is this part clear to everyone? So this is the problem that we will be solving in today's class. And the thing over here now, guys, all I want from you guys is just being consistent. As I've said in the day 0, that our main goal is not to, learn fancy things, like once in a month or something. Our ultimate goal is to just be consistent, dedicate some time to our studies daily. And if we are able to build this kind of a system, I think we will be able to accomplish a lot of things in short period of time. One of the most difficult thing for a human being, okay, is to be consistent. One of the most difficult thing for a human being is to just be consistent. Right now I'm having this very high fever, okay, and I was telling my team, what should I do? Like, should I really record this particular class or should I take a break? And then I just thought for a moment that if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to break that entire routine of yours, even mine. So irrespective of what happens, throughout the day, it's my responsibility that the lecture gets published around 10 p.m. All right. And I just expect that you guys are staying consistent and studying with me on regular basis. That's all. Okay. You might have a very difficult day. Your mood is not right. Okay. You are tired. Okay. All these excuses, you can just ignore it off. You just need to make sure that you are dedicating some time of your entire day to accomplish things that matters, and it's going to help you achieve, better career transitions. Now, I hope you have understood this particular problem. So the first thing over here now, guys, is I'm going to explain you the entire logic, how we will be approaching this particular problem. I'm going to solve it with two ways. Okay. Once I have explained you the logic, once you have understood how this entire logic works, I want you guys to write the code. Once you have written the code, okay, I'm going to write the code so that you can just cross check both the code at your end. Now, without wasting time, let's get started over here. So over here, the first thing is I am going to create a class, okay, over here in my SDET 90 days interview prep. And let's call this particular package as com.day9. And we just want to solve one problem for today. And that problem is valid palindrome. Okay. So let's go back over here. Yeah. And we're going to have the main method. Control-Shift-F. Now, let's say we have a string input, and input is going to have the value a man, a plan, a canal, a nama. This is the one which I'm going to take it. I'm just going to place it over here. Now, what we will be doing is we will use the two pointers approach. But first, let's say what I want over here is I want to just somewhere down the lane remove the white spaces. We want to remove the white spaces. We want to remove this probably the comma and the colon. So we want to remove something, right? So technically we want to perform some kind of a modification over here. One thing that we have learned in the last class is that whenever you are going to have any modification, strings are basically what? Immutable. Strings are basically immutable. Modification is not allowed. Whenever you want to do any kind of modification, what you are supposed to use? String builder. String builder is mutable. String builder is going to be created in the heap memory. And string builder is thread safe. Okay. This chap is going to be thread safe. And because it is not thread safe, my bad. This chap is not thread safe. And because it is not thread safe, it is fast. Clear? Now, over here, guys, because we will be modifying this string a little bit, the modified string, I'm going to store it inside string builder. So string builder SB equal to new string builder. Now, what we will be doing now, from this particular string, I want to traverse, okay, and get each of the characters. So what we will be doing, we will be converting it into a character array. So I'm going to say character array equal to input dot to character array. The moment you do this, input dot to character array, what is going to happen? A character array will be created for you. Okay. And it is going to have the character A, then there is going to be a space, M, A, N, comma, there is a space, then there is going to be again a P, L, A, N, comma, space, A, space, C, A, N, A, L, okay, colon, and you're going to have a space, and you're going to have the Panama over here, right? A, M, whatever. I just don't have a little bit space left. I can just bring this chaff over here. Okay, M. Now, what we will be doing is we will be traversing. We will be traversing this array. So, over here, I'm going to say for array, and over here I'm going to use the for each loop. From this particular array, one by one I want to get the character. So I'm going to get this character C. Alright. Now, the first thing is I want to check whether the character that I am trying to read over here, whether the character which I am trying to read over here, is it a space? Okay, is it non-alpha numeric? So how we can do that? I can say if character class, there is a class called character dot, is letter or digit. If it is letter or digit, so space, is it a letter? No. Comma, is it a letter? No. But A, M, A, N, they all are letter. There's no numbers also is fine because we want to make sure it's alphanumeric. So non-alpha numeric, we should just remove them off. So is letter or digit? C. Okay. So if character is a letter or digit, if this particular condition is true, then what we will be doing, we will be appending SB dot append C. That's all. That's all we are going to do. Now, if I just print SB for you guys over here, save this. Let's do a right click, run as Java application. Observe what happens. You see what has happened? Comma, space and colon. It is not there in this particular string builder, right? Now what we want over here is, see, the letters A and P, they are in uppercase, right? And for us, it has been told that if we want to check whether a string is in palindrome or not, everything needs to be converted into lowercase. So how we will do that? I can technically convert this string builder to lowercase, but I'm not going to do this chap. I'm going to actually convert the character itself into lowercase. So over here, I'm going to say character dot to lowercase c. Now, some of you guys will be thinking, Arey Jatin, why did you convert the character itself? The simple reason over here, guys, is I just want this string builder to have everything in lowercase because here only I'm appending the characters, na? So it's better to convert those character itself into lowercase, okay, when we are creating this string builder. All right. Now, if I'm going to save this and I'm going to click on the play button, you will notice all the characters of the string builder are in lowercase. Now, what we will be doing is we will be converting this string builder to string. So I'm going to create a string called, let's say, cleaned input. The reason I'm going to call it cleaned input is because we have removed all the non-alphanumeric characters. So commas and colons have been removed now, and we have also converted it into lowercase. So I'm going to say string cleaned input equal to sb dot toString. So this is how you convert string builder to string. Next, I'm going to have string reversed input, and that is pretty simple. I'm going to say sb dot reverse dot toString. That's it. So I got the cleaned input, and here I'm trying to reverse the string builder and I'm converting it into the string. So we just have to compare the two strings. We can simply use a simple if else statement. I'm going to say if cleaned input dot equals reversed string input, it basically means that it is a valid palindrome. Else, I'm going to say it's not invalid palindrome. Save it. Click on the play button. It's a valid palindrome. Let's change this chap. Let's call this as Jatin, just changing one word over here. So if I'm going to click on the play button, invalid palindrome. We were having this another string now. Race, car. So if I'm going to save it, click on the play button, it's an invalid palindrome. Let's check for madam. Save it. Click on the play button. It's a valid palindrome. Done and dusted. So this is the logic of this particular program using string builder. And over here, we are using the inbuilt methods. Okay. And we are technically creating a string builder. We are reversing it and we are checking whether the cleaned input is equal to the reversed input. That's it. So I want you guys to pause this particular video, write this particular code at your end. Okay. So at least you should be aware of one approach over here. Once this is done, we will look at the optimal solution, which is to use the two-pointer approach. All right. Quickly write this particular code at your end. All right, guys, I hope you have written the code. Now let's try to understand the second approach using which we can check whether a string is palindrome or not. And that is going to be two pointers approach. So in the last class, we already introduced the two pointer approach. We're going to do a revision here again. Now, the thing is, whenever you're talking about two pointer approach, the first thing you need to remember is you need to have some kind of an array. All right. So over here, we were having the string, and this particular string, we were converting it into a character array. The moment array comes into picture, two pointer can be applied. So over here, let's try to understand how we will be using two pointer approach over here. So the first thing, guys, is we will be having a string. All right. And let's keep it very simple. I'm going to have a string input, right? Input is going to be what? Madam. Now we know that this is a palindrome. Perfect. But I want to apply a two pointer approach and check whether it is a palindrome or not. So I'm going to convert it into a character array. So we will be using the input dot to character array. Perfect. So this is M, this is A, this is D, this is A. So this is going to be the 0th index, first, second, third, fourth. Perfect. And we will be having M over here. We're going to have A over here. We're going to have D over here. We're going to have A over here. We're going to have M over here. Perfect. Now, when we are talking about two pointer approach, we are going to have technically two pointers, and one pointer I'm going to call it as left. Okay, which is going to take care of the leftmost element, technically the element which is there on the 0th index. So we are going to initialize left variable with 0. Then we will be having another pointer. Let's use a different color. And this is going to be called right. And right is going to be initialized with 4, the last element inside our array. Now I can say int right is going to be equal to 4. Now here's the thing, guys. Whenever you are initializing right, never ever hardcode the value. What you can do over here is, instead of putting 4, I can say your array reference. Let's say the array reference over here is A. Okay. So I'm going to say A dot length -1. Length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 1 is going to be 4. Perfect. Now, the thing is, for this particular string to be a palindrome, whatever the element which is there on the left index should be equal to the element which is there on the right index. I'm repeating it again. For this particular string to be a palindrome, whatever the element which is available on the left index should be equal to the element which is available on the right index. Cross check. M should be equal to M. A should be equal to A. And we just have one character, so we can ignore that. Makes sense, right? So, this string can only become a palindrome when A of left is going to be equal to A of right. If they are not equal, it means it is not a palindrome. So, what we will be do is, I'm going to have the one major condition if A of left should be equal to A of right. If this particular stuff is true, okay, it can be a palindrome. But let's assume that it is not equal to. Over here, this is B. B-A-D-A-M. If the character which is there on the left index is not equal to the character which is there on the right index, even if one of these conditions is not working, if this particular stuff is not equal, it is definitely not a palindrome. So we are looking to check whether A of left is not equal to A of right. Are you getting the point? Because if this condition becomes true, A of left is not equal to A of right, it is not palindrome for sure. Alright. Now, the thing is, in our main question, we are going to have characters which are going to be in uppercase. We are also going to have characters which are going to be non-alphanumeric, right? So over here, this comparison needs to be done only for alphanumeric characters. So what we want, if there is going to be a letter which is going to be in uppercase, let's say over here, this M is a capital M. So over here, capital M is not equal to lowercase m. That is true. But the thing is, they both are same letter. They both are same letter. So I have to make sure that the character casing is taken into consideration. We are converting the character into lowercase. And how we can do that? We can do that with the help of character class, character.to lowercase. Here also I'm going to do character.to lowercase. Alright, lowercase this chap. Makes sense. So we will be converting this capital M into lower m. And then we will be doing the comparison. This takes care of the casing. Now one more thing. We will be having space. We will be having comma as well as colon and different symbols. So we are only supposed to focus on those indexes which are having letters or digits. We are only supposed to focus on those indexes, those left and right pointers which are going to have letters or digits. Anything apart from that, we are supposed to ignore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a check. Okay. Over here, let's assume we have an index over here as well as here. So this is 0, probably this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We have a space over here and we have an @ sign. Okay. So the right is going to be over here, left is going to be over here. Now, we will first check this particular index. Okay. The value which is there on this particular index, is it not a letter or a digit? It is not a letter or a digit, right? Perfect. Because if you remember, we have a method character dot is letter or digit. Okay, digit. So over here, if I'm going to give a space basically means that, hey, this chap is not a letter or a digit. So this is going to give me false. I'm going to put a not over here. What is opposite of false? True. Because we got a particular character which is not a letter or digit, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to increment. We are not supposed to use this particular chap. We are going to use, or we're going to check the next index. Okay, the next value. Same over here. If this is going to be @, is this a letter or a digit? No. So this is going to be false. False opposite is not a false is true. Because it is true, we are supposed to decrement right. This also condition we are supposed to use. So this is something that we will be using in our 2-pointer approach now. So what we will do now, I'm going to duplicate this chap quickly. And over here, let's remove all these things. Okay. I'm going to create a method over here called is palindrome. Okay, that's the name of the method. And I'm going to pass the method or this input string over here. So let's quickly create this particular stuff. And this particular method is going to return me true or false. Okay. So over here, I'm going to create my left pointer. Left is going to be equal to 0. And we are going to have this input. Now. So I'm going to say first have the conversion and convert the string into a character array. So I'm going to say char a equal to input dot to character array, and let's put a array reference over here, and this is going to be int right equal to a dot length minus 1. Perfect. Next, while left is going to be less than right. In 2-pointer approach, the left pointer is going to focus on the first half of the array, and the right pointer is going to focus on the last half part of that particular array. So over here, while left is less than right, what we will do, we are again going to check while left is less than right and character dot is letter or digit. Over here, we're going to take this particular chap, put it off over here, square bracket of left. Whatever is there on the left index, if it is not a letter or digit, it means that it is alphanumeric. It's non-alphanumeric. It's probably a symbol. So I'm going to say increment the left. This is important that inside a while loop, we'll have another while loop. And again, we're going to do the same stuff for right. And we're going to say right minus minus. Then you're going to do the comparison. If character dot to lowercase. Take this particular a of right or whatever. Put it off over here. Let's put a of left because that's better. Okay. Character dot to lowercase a of left not equal to, okay, character a of right. Okay, if they are not equal to each other, I'm just going to return false. Okay. If after all these things, this thing remains, like we are able to complete this particular loop, and we will be completing the loop by what? Making sure that we are incrementing left and decrementing right. Outside the loop, I'm just going to return true. So if we are able to return true, it basically means that it is a palindrome. We are supposed to increment the left and decrement the right. If you notice, this is the exact two-pointer approach wala logic. Okay. And let's see what is getting printed over here. Save it. Click on the play button. True. This is a palindrome. Now let's check for the main stuff. Let's copy this. Paste it over here. Keeping the fingers crossed. Let's click on the play button. True. I just change it to something else. Okay. Probably Jatin. False. It's not a palindrome. Okay. Let's say save it, click on the play button, and false. Okay. So again, this is a very interesting problem, guys. Please make sure that you solve it off properly. The main thing over here, guys, is the reason we are using a while loop and not just the if condition is because what if there are multiple special characters popping up over there? Okay, one after the other. So let's say over here I was having at the rate again. So I have to keep on shifting towards the right. I have to keep on decrementing the right, or I'm supposed to keep on incrementing the left till the time I find a alphanumeric character. All right. The moment your a of left is not going to be equal to a of right, it means that it is not a palindrome. So that's the reason I'm directly returning false. We don't really need to check all the characters. If even one match is failing, it is not a barrier. But after completing the entire loop, okay, if you are able to reach over here, it means that all the characters are matching and it is technically a palindrome. That's it. Pause this particular video, quickly write it down at your end. Okay. This is a very important problem. It has been asked a lot of time and you have to approach it with the 2 pointers one. But for some reason in your interview, you're not able to do that. You go with the first one, at least write some logic and show your entire approach in your interviews. Okay. Now, if you have watched this particular video till here, make sure you mark your attendance. Now, tomorrow's class, I will be taking a very important interview question. Okay, again, it is going to be a coding question. But the thing is, all the questions which I'll be covering in the series are all commonly asked questions. So please make sure, guys, you are studying these lectures properly and on regular basis. Don't miss and create a pretty big backlog for yourself. It's going to become very difficult. Okay, and we want to make sure that during your notice period, we are able to get more and more job calls. We're able to, prepare for the interviews fast. So what you need to study in your 90 days notice period, this is what it is. Okay. Stay consistent. You're going to do just fine. Signing off as Jatin. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.